Hi everyone, Jackie here with Enjoying Life's Journey. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another monthly budget planning video. So what I do with these videos is I take you through budgeting out the next month. We do get paid, my husband gets paid every Friday, so I have all of his paydays up here. So we budget everything out so it has a zero at the bottom, meaning it's a zero-based budget. So we tell every single dollar where to go, whether it's paying for a necessity or some fun or savings. And then we go week by week or paycheck by paycheck and budget those out as well. So I'd love to hear from you guys. How is your June budget looking? Are you hitting any of the goals that you've been trying to reach? What are some of your changes that you're seeing from June from May? So let me know in the comments. So one of our changes that you're going to see here is that because Ricky gets paid on Fridays, we actually have he has 5 paychecks instead of 4, which is always a little bit of a bonus there. Some people like to try to ignore that and pretend that that extra paycheck doesn't exist and they just put it all into savings. I like to just budget it into the whole budget as a whole. So Ricky's base pay is basically $602 after taxes. That's an estimate. The other thing is his overtime. So I'm pretty sure that the paycheck on the 1st will not have overtime. The 8th, I'm not really sure about, so I'm going to leave that. But they will be going back to their 10-hour days soon. They are basically going to be starting the next project, so he is in construction. You know, sometimes they're in a project for 6 months. This next project is looking, he said it's going to be almost a 5-year project, so it's going to be a big one. He said they'll be going back to their 10-hour days probably in the next week or 2. So I'm going to go ahead and add overtime to these next paychecks here. So we're going to estimate that to be $226 of overtime. So I'll make these red because that's just what we're estimating. That doesn't necessarily mean that's what we have yet. We're going to go ahead and change over here that we now have the overtime. In addition, I wasn't sure when you run a business, it's kind of hard to predict too far in advance what you're going to be making, but I'm estimating $229. That's actually more closer like to the 4th, so it's kind of in between these two. But I'm just going to categorize it as the 1st. Okay, so now this is more realistic of what our income is supposed to look like for June. So we're looking more like $3,917. So we're going to budget that out. So starting here, I mentioned I did a weekly budget last week on the new deductions and stuff that Ricky's going to have out of his paycheck. One of them being his 401k. Now we can contribute. He's been with the company long enough to finally have access to the 401k. We are just starting small at 3% before taxes. So basically, his base pay is roughly $680 before taxes. So 3% of that would be $240. So I need to adjust what these numbers would be based on the overtime amount. So this is going to be closer to $28.05. And that's again if he works overtime. Now this is automatically deducted from his paycheck before taxes. So this number could actually be, you know, it could be off a little bit as well. So in the future, I may go ahead and start keeping track of like everything that we're spending. So I may put this as before tax dollars, and then I may go ahead and add a column in here for, you know, the taxes that are taken out, so we have more of an idea of like the way it flows. But for now, we're just going to kind of leave it here. It may not make too much sense for you guys there, so I'm going to change this to the $124.95. These other categories here, basically we want to reach $100, but we're trying to stay at $100 or less. We don't want to spend too much in these other areas. This is the business. Basically, in June, I am going to a travel conference for my business, and so I'm still using expenses for driving and food and stuff like that. Ricky, we're going to go ahead and do $100, and then myself will do $100, just so we can go ahead and bring it to that 100 that we're trying to do. Gifts, we're going to go ahead and do 100. Now this goes into, like I said, this goes into a savings account. We try to put money into it every month. And then as holidays, like in May, we had a celebration for a friend. We had Mother's Day, Ricky's birthday, things like that. We start spending a little bit more. Christmas will be coming up. So we're going to have, coming up in August, we have our Elsa's birthday. And then we're pretty much good until like Thanksgiving and Christmas. So we'll see what ends up being there. So the other thing down here in necessities that you're going to notice now are the other deductions we have May, I just lumped it into one thing because we are just starting to see it come out. But this time I decided to go ahead and do it. So I'm going to go over that here in a minute with you. The other thing you're going to notice from May, what changed is our grocery budget is increased and our gas has increased because we have that 5 paychecks instead of 4. So the way ours work is basically like this money is to cover any expenses until this paycheck. This needs to cover anything until this, and so on. So I know I need 5 weeks covered of groceries and 5 weeks covered for gas. Ricky spends about $5 a day on gas. And I usually try to just fill the car, you know, $40 for the month. So if I'm running lower on gas, I try not to use the car. But I actually need to change this to $165 to make that $5 a day for Ricky. And then for groceries, we do roughly $10 a day, so $70 a week. Times the 5 weeks would give us $350. That's kind of how we budget out for that stuff. Our rent and water is $996.13. We are on a shorter lease. We just signed a 5-month lease because we are trying to buy a house. So this will be done. We'll pay our last rent here at the end of August for September. So renter's insurance currently as $11.08. All right, I'm going to go ahead and add, because Ricky does have the extra paycheck, I'm going to go ahead and add some stuff for personal care and household and do 25 and 50. Oh, actually we need more than that. I want to get my hair cut and the girls' hair trimmed before we do our Vegas trip. Actually, I'm going to say $80 for personal care because of haircuts. And then a household, 50. Sometimes I don't budget anything, but I've noticed that we're consistently something always seems to run out at a random time. So I'm going to go ahead and put something in the budget just to make sure we're kind of covered there. The other thing is I need to add some money to, okay, so here, going down the line here, sorry guys, so Ricky's cell phone's $35. Electricity, we're on track for $95, but I don't have the exact bill yet, so I'm just going to budget out $100. I just changed the gas to $165. Insurance is $95.28. Car maintenance replacement. So I mentioned last month that we were going to have the brakes checked on the car. So we ended up needing to get the front brakes done on Ricky's motorcycle, so we purchased those brakes. And then our friend Louie and Ricky, they looked at the brakes on the car. They said the back brakes and the back tires look good, but the front brakes and the front tires do need to be replaced, and I want to make sure that's done before we drive to Las Vegas. So we've already purchased the brakes. I just need to get the tires done, and the tires are roughly about $54, $55 each. Okay, so we need about $110 for 2 new tires. We do already have the brakes, so I already have $45 put aside from May, so I need another $65 to finish out getting the tires done. So basically that first weekend, we're going to go ahead and get the tires done and the brakes and everything because we leave for Vegas on the 13th, I believe. Our registration is not due yet. Motorcycle insurance is $21.16. Arcadia's commission job, she can earn up to $28 for the month. Elsa can earn up to $12 for the month. And then coming down to our deductions now. So for our life insurance for the entire family is $24.50 through Ricky's work, which is an awesome price. But that is split up between all of the paydays, so roughly $5.63 per paycheck. Ricky and I have the dental plan. So basically ours for the month is only $19.13. So again, weekly is about $3.83. Ricky's long-term disability is about $16.80 for the month, so about $3.36 per paycheck. And then the health insurance for the entire family, we're looking at about $79.20 for the month, so about $15.84 per paycheck for our health insurance. So these are all new expenses that we didn't have before. Luckily, Ricky's company is pretty good, so our prices, you know, we don't have to spend too much compared to if we were to go shopping for, you know, health insurance on our own. So that's actually not too bad. So that's what our necessities are looking for June. And then for fun, again, I'm going to increase this to the $100 that we were talking about. So what I'm going to do here is it shows that I have some money left, but I want to go, our goal right now is to put as much as possible into our house, our long-term savings for the down payment for the house. So I am going to adjust this. So everything else I put where I feel comfortable of what we're doing. So I'm going to scroll down to the bottom, and it's going to tell me that I have $1,143.77. If we can control our spending on these other areas, which you guys have seen we've been struggling with, we should be able to put an additional $1,143 towards the down payment for the house. Our goal, $5,000. We are at $2,838. So let's see what that would end up putting us at. That's putting us at just under. We're just under $4,000. We're at $3,982. The time frame that we're looking at, basically, we want to have that $5,000 in time for closing. So basically, what that's going to mean is that our closing is probably going to look closer to maybe the middle of July. That way, we will have some savings to help us get that, get up a little bit more. So we may not reach the full $5,000 goal, but we're getting, we're doing pretty good. We're getting really close to it. That's just, what we want to be. So we already know that we will be dipping into the emergency fund in order to help with the down payment for the house as well. So we'll just have to see what everything ends up being like when that's all said and done, and we'll keep you posted. So now I'm going to go through it. I need to update my weekly based on what I've changed on my monthly budget. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete all of these because that's going to change depending. I've already done the 401k amount. I've already changed that. So the next one I need to change is the business. So we're going to go ahead and just change that to 50. So that shows me I'm going to use 50 from the first paycheck, 50 from the paycheck on the 8th, and that gives me my $100. Okay. So again, Ricky's we're going to do. We're just going to go ahead and change this to 50. So he has this 100. And then we'll go ahead and change this. So I have my 100. Okay, so that's how we're doing that one. Giving, we're going to go ahead and just make that $100 right there in the middle. Rent, we already have set up. Those are already set up. So like I mentioned, I want the girls and I to get our hair cut before we go to Vegas. So I'm going to say the 80 is coming out of the second paycheck. And then household. We'll come back to that. Car maintenance, again, that's something that I want to make sure we get done the first week. So I'm going to put that $65 I need in that first paycheck right there. These other ones I have coming out kind of based on due dates, okay? So most of our bills that have a due date I have coming out of our second paycheck of the month, and that way I have it a few paychecks before it's actually due. With groceries, I try to have it coming out mostly out of the first paycheck, some of the second paycheck. And this, I'm going to go ahead and change that one to 100. Now I'm over by $12.07 right here. You can see that. So I'm going to change that from the groceries. Okay, so the $12.07, if I take that out of, I'm actually only going to use $69 out of the second paycheck. And so I have to add it right here. I'm actually going to do $280.67. Okay, so now I have my $350. Okay, so it's kind of this is how I work the budget to make sure everything's accounted for the month and for every week. So let's come back down here. So okay, that is at a 0. I don't know if you guys can see it. That's at a 0. I still have some extra stuff here. So I'm just going to go through and make sure everything's accounted for real quick. So I have our fun at $100. All of these match up. That matches up. That's that. So we need our household. So I'm going to go ahead and do household out of this first paycheck. Gas, I do need to add $5. I know I need at least $65 for gas for this first one to cover the week of gas for the car and for Ricky. So that almost puts me at the 161. So I'm going to change this one here. And see what I need. So I need so this one's going to be $26.67. Okay? Everything's accounted for. So what's left is going into the savings up here. So I have $170.19. So this one I'm not going to have any. $473.46. $70.52. And the last one here, $225.95. So that's actually, so this one is actually going to be 1140.12. Okay, so that should all match up now. So the idea is that when I'm done doing my budget for the week and for the month, I have zeros at the bottom here. So I know that I've told every dollar where to go. Okay. As you see, that doesn't mean I have $0. I'm actually saving over $1,000. So I'll actually have over $1,000 left, and we're investing $125. So we're actually looking really good for June. Okay, so like I said, we're not gonna make that $5,000 goal. My goal, I think my $5,000 goal was by the end of July. So we'll have to see if, we're going to be right there close to 4,000. So we'll see if we can save 1,000 in July. So that's the budget for June. We're going to see how well we can stay on budget this time. Really, the main thing that we have going on is that I will be going on the trip to Las Vegas. But again, that money is stuff that's paid for separately. So like the gas, and the room is already paid for. The conference is already paid for. I already have my outfits. So basically, like I said, we want to get our haircuts before we go. And then I just have, an extra $100 here and an extra $100 for mine, which we'll be using for, gas and food while we're on that trip. So we should be able to keep pretty fairly within budget on everything else. I feel confident about that. Let me know again, how is your June looking? And join me every week. We check in and we see how our week's going, and we see what we need to adjust moving forward to finish out the month on a good note. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye!